You are listening to Larry Conners, USA.
You want answers?
I think I'm entitled.
You want answers?
I want the truth!
You can't handle the truth!
This is Larry Conners USA. Larry Conners USA.
When she says those very hateful, bigoted things about an American member of Congress, there are security implications, and she should know that now. It's not most, it's not many, but some tiny, tiny fraction of her audience could be deranged and could be inspired to violence. We saw the violence on January 6th, so she knows or should know that she has the capacity to inspire some tiny percentage of her followers to violence. And so she should be much more responsible. She should be ashamed of herself.
Should be ashamed of herself. Those are the words of Paul Begala, CNN political analyst. He's talking about Congresswoman Marjorie Taylor Greene. She spoke at that rally where Trump appeared the other day, and she made some remarks just encouraging everyone to understand what's at stake going forward in future elections. But she's had some previous statements that have basically, I would agree that she has not been the best when it comes to stating some issues, and some of the things she has said, she has had to back down a little ways because she's been kind of making suggestions and remarks about, well, it could link her to the Proud Boys, the Klan, all that. It's very poor choice of words. But, of course, Democrats can make those poor choices of words all the time, and they get away with it. Here's Paul Begala, CNN political analyst, saying what she said, she's got to be real careful because she's got at least a percentage of her backing, maybe even a small fraction, but they could be deranged. They could start all kinds of things again. Remember January 6th. Are you surprised they continue to pound that drum labeled January 6th? I told you in the beginning when it happened, don't be surprised. They're going to use it against the Republicans for decades to come. Decades to come. While at the same time ignoring something the Democrats were involved in decades and decades and decades ago, back to Jim Crow laws, when I hear Senator Chuck Schumer say the senators who were fighting against civil rights at that time, they were just wrong. They were wrong then, they're wrong now, as if they're fighting against it now. But what he did not say is the Democrat senators of that time. Those were the ones who were fighting against it. We're going to get into this in a lot more detail because there are several underlying stories that we're going to have to break down for you. And it's not, of course, just Marjorie Taylor Greene. It's, again, an attack upon Trump. That's what they're after. They're getting more and more frightened that Trump or even DeSantis. They're looking for a way to slander him as well, Florida Governor DeSantis, because he might also be a contender in the Trump fashion, even running with Trump, or maybe runs with Trump's blessing. There is a battle, of course, over infrastructure. Or is it over infrastructure? Biden saying, I'm going to let it go ahead, and then suddenly he sends word back from this compromise that he's reached with the Republicans and the Democrats together. The progressive left said, no, not so fast. We're not going if you don't include climate change. No climate change, no deal. So when we hear about the January 6th assault upon the Capitol, are you aware what the Democrats are doing around the White House right now? There's no violence. I want to stress no violence. They're not battling police in any way. No one's throwing anything. But again, it's First Amendment gathering they're entitled to. But they're trying to block all the entrances to the White House. Of course, you don't get that close to the White House. But they're also redefining infrastructure. And progressives are willing to school you on what it really is. Tucker Carlson last night took a look at that issue. He stated the obvious. All of this is about power. We know that. And the left using racism to make the opponents cower. Go back in the corner. You don't dare speak out or we'll come after you. Tucker pointed out that there's also been an attack since the Obama administration upon suburbs, that they're racist and need to be broken up. China apparently keeping secrets again. We have a nuclear accident over there. What do we know? What do we not know? Mike Howell, heritage expert, will be joining us on that. The fight against critical race theory continues. Ty Smith, the black conservative radio broadcaster that showed up at the school board meeting. What's happened since he's been there? And then the NFL, trying again to be woke, puts out a video. It starts with music and some black background, and in white words, football is gay. Then football is lesbian. Football then starts going all through these and ends up with football is for everyone. That again might work against the NFL. Just as folks are trying to come back. We'll discuss boycotts and the value. Lock and load. Ready on the right.
You can hear podcast of this program at Larry Connors USA Facebook. Larry Connors USA Facebook.